Hey everyone! So, I started a garden and that video wasn't very thorough, but I had gone to the store and I bought about 12 containers, 6 green, 6 brown, and I got everything from mustard, spinach, dill, parsley, sage, lettuce, a Grand Rapids, a Paris, an iceberg lettuce. I got kale. I got Swiss chard. So we have our lettuce, our Grand Rapids lettuce, our radishes, and the packet said ideal for containers. Here are my radishes. What's incredible about these radishes is I believe every single seed, or just about every single seed I had planted, came to fruition and is now a really wonderful, viable plant that I hope will pull through till harvest. I do hope that I'm a little worried that the soil level is a little low. I should have, and everything in the brown containers were planted first, and then within 4 to 5 days, or possibly even a week later, I then planted everything in the green containers. And if you notice in the green containers, I tended to put the soil at the very top because I noticed with the radishes, as I would water every day, the soil, started to dissipate. And it's dropped about, I'd say about 1/4 of an inch, which is alarming for, in my opinion, a very small, medium small container. And here's the Swiss chard. And I really want to transplant these guys out of here. The soil is very, very, very moist. And so everything in the brown containers has about a full week of growing on the green containers. But over here, my kale in both the green and brown container was, doing so well that I was able to transplant them from their container into my garden. Now over here, I've got mustard spinach and 2 containers of kale. This first batch came from my first container, and it was a really rocky transplant, but this has been 2 to 3 days later, and so it seems like everyone's pulling through. A little worse for the wear in some places, but still pulling through. I'm incredibly happy. And then over here we have the beans. Now these 2 beans were in this container and were getting remarkably huge. And like I said, so the first few transplants didn't do so well, and the first thing I transplanted into this garden was the beans. And in this container I had these 2 large stalks, and when I transplanted the beans, I made special care to keep these intact. And as you can see, here's another part of the container, and I don't believe those beans made it through. I was watching This Old House on YouTube and Gardening in the Southwest, and they recommended an ancient technique of waffle gardening named after the almost waffle shape to your garden. And so I I use that technique. And so over here we have the beans, everything from Kentucky Wonder to a garden bean to green beans, and amongst here hopefully is a stalk of pinto beans, but these beans are doing remarkably well. Very happy with everyone. Once the bean kind of breaks through the soil, these beans can grow, I'm not kidding you, about ½ an inch a day. Oftentimes I'll come in the morning and I'll see, for example, this little guy, or like this little guy, and by the end of the day they'll, a little guy like that will be looking, like a full leaf opened up. It's incredible. So I've watched videos that beans have nitrogen fixing nodules, I believe, in their root systems, and so they do well in soil that would be unacceptable for, say, lettuce, for kale. So I went ahead and transformed this part of our yard into a garden. So and over here in this bed I have a mixture of radishes, I believe no, this must just be radishes that just got planted a few days ago, so we'll see how they do. And let me show you guys the progress in the back in the compost pile, or rather, so over here we have our potatoes. I was really happy with these potatoes, but something seems to have happened, or maybe I need to research and have a supporting stock, because I just came out to find this potato not doing too good. There's always something in the garden. Oh, I have a new potato plant. This one just came up. And then we have, I just started another, a new compost veggie pile. And so I put in a lot of cantaloupe seeds, potatoes that had started developing eyes and sprouts, and watermelons, baby watermelon, cantaloupe, and potatoes. And so in about just a week we finally have some results. So I'm gonna stay on top of these, and I'm really hoping for a fall harvest this year, everyone. And this melon or squash is still hanging in there. Today it's a very, very overcast day. We had a ton of rain yesterday. It literally rained throughout the entire day. Oh, I need to trim this back. It's getting a little overgrown, so maybe I'll post a video on just pruning, maintaining your rose bush, though. But anyways, so I was going to proceed planting the rest of my garden for you guys, and I'll actually make a separate video from start to finish, and then with more frequent and consistent updates, and it'll be my first how-to tutorial. Alright, bye guys.